You guys mochel me for that mussar? Holy mussar? It's.
I know, I would say, yeah, nobody wants to hear you and everything, so that's fine. But I would say more than that. I would then say, even if we do get there at 8:15, I mean, is that get here at 8:15 or fill in, brachot, Rabbi? Oh, you're not.
We already spoke about that if we really want to have a chance to have like this thing called Shachris not be robotic, then it's impossible to get here at 8:15 to think that you could feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Shachris. But that's another story. Anyway, so no, it's either we're gonna at a certain point we're gonna have to choose checklist Yiddishkeit or more. So hopefully we keep on choosing more.
It's a Gavaldic checklist. When you come at about 8:16 or 17. And you get what's going on before Baruch.
Right. Before Baruch.
Yeah, you're not, I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that...
It's true. It's true. But you know, the first few mornings after we talked about how if we chose to show up at 8:05 and sit here with 5 minutes with a talis over our head saying Aye Makom Kvodo for 5 minutes. So, for a few days after we said that, the guys were doing it, and it was... So we're gonna get back there, Bezrat Hashem, with love, not with we have to do it. That'll never work either. With love and patience and dibuk chaverim and reminders to each other why we come to shul in the first place. That's how we'll get there, not by hammers on the head. But occasional reminders would be sweet and nice. You know? So no, because really I feel it when guys are running and they're just pacing, they're trying to catch up to us, it's not there. The whole Inyan is going to be together and. That's actually what we're going to be learning today. This is one of my favorite svarim, the Bרכת Avraham. This sefer is one of the previous Slonim Rabbis, one of my favorite svarim for many years. In the Sivos Shalom that everyone learns all over the world now, it was Yonik from his father, his grandfather, from all the teachings of his grandparents. You all see that it was like taking the fruits of what he got from his ancestors and squeezing it. And the juice that came out was what, as Mamish conquered the world, which is the Netivot Shalom, which is went all over the place. We see here where it came from. So we learned this piece of the Parshas Kedoshim. We're not going to finish the whole thing, but it's amazing how Kadosh Baruch Hu has been giving us piece after piece that are helping us with all the avodah we're taking on ourselves. By the way, I have a Megillah from Cliff that he finished this morning that I'm sending out later today. Okay? Kedoshim. Daber kol adas bnei Yisrael v'marata lehem kedoshim tiyu ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokeichem. It's one of the most strangest psukim we have, where God basically says, "Be holy." Why? What's the reason? God could have given any reason. Be holy because I chose you. Be holy because I love you. But what's God's reasoning behind His demand for us to be holy? Ki kadosh, because I'm holy. So I always say that's like on the same level. God could say, listen, I want you guys to create a whole world in a few days because that's what I did too. What do you mean that's the reason to be holy? What's going on over here? ובראשי מלמד שנאמרה פרשה זו בהקל מפני שרוב גופי תורה תלויים בה. This is one of the inyanim that was said. It had to be said when everyone was together. Behakel. What other things were said behakel? What else was said behakel? Does anyone know? Very good. The rebuke. What else? What's one of the reasons that had to be said together? Because we couldn't handle it alone, right? We had certain things. Certain things. Basically, we can't handle them on our own. As much as we would love to think that we can handle certain things on our own, certain things you cannot be handled on our own. So we could already see where we're going with this over here. To really hear the commandment from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, be holy, it's almost saying, you guys, it's not that you can't handle it on your own, you're not supposed to figure it out on your own either. That's a very deep concept. Rashi says, this parsha was said, which literally means that most of the most essential parts of the Torah are dependent on this parsha. Now, I have an amazing book in my house in German. I don't understand one word of German, but I love this book so much because it's this old book in German called Kedoshim Tiyu, and it was written by Rabbiner Dr. Solomon Karlebach, Reb Shlomo's grandfather. Rabbi Shlomo Katz of the chief rabbi of Lubeck, Germany, wrote a whole book about what it means to be Kedoshim. Not one word in there, but just that it's there, I don't know, it does something to me. But you know how like in Shlomo language, not Shlomo language, but in Reb Shlomo language, it's holy this, holy that, holy brother, holy sister. I remember a few years ago in the drush I said, I was once in the Moshav for Shabbos in Solomon's house, it's like 20 years ago, and someone, holy brother, holy sister, that's the lashon, that's the norm, right? So there was this British girl that was in seminary for the year. She was also by the Solomons for lunch, and my buddy Yehuda, he said, holy sister, can you pass the olives? I'm not holy and I'm not your sister, right? So he said, so the next time around she said, okay, stranger, can you pass the olives, right? But this language, holy, 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 what is it really coming to tell us? Where do we find ourselves in this word? It's such a big word. And there's so many different perushim. And one of the main ones that we always go to is separate. Separate. Holiness means separate. But how much of being separate does it mean when this Torah that had to be given over when we're not separate, when we're all together? You see? Let's see what he says over here. מרומז בזה לעצם עניין הקל. מה שיהודים מתכנסים יחד באחדות הלבבות, when Yidden get together, they come together, באחדות הלבבות, with the hearts uniting. ומבטלין עצמם זה לזה. What does that mean that they mevatel themselves to each other? What do you think that means? It's about what? Right. So that really essentially is the point of minyan. But if I had to ask you, how many minyans that you know of, people come there in order to what? Achadut halevavot, that the hearts become one, and there's bittul going on amongst each other. It's like we forgot a lot about what Hakel is all about, what any ingathering of Yidden is all about. And that's really, I knew we were going to learn this today, and that's really where I was coming from after davening, is that we want our hearts to be together. It's got to be something that we're doing together. רוב גופי תורה תלויים בו, שעניין הקל מסוגל להיטהר מכל רע. Because truly, this concept of hakel, of coming together, is capable of purifying all bad. Just the essence of being together, of coming together. Now, how that works and why that works is not why I want to go into it so much right now. I want to see how he explains how just the act of hakel, of coming together, brings to a level of kedoshim. Okay? Is that cool? Be'ita Midrash. It says in the Midrash in Be'ikra Rabbah, She'parashat Kedoshim yesh 60 mitzvot. You ever do the Shla Kodesh? If you ever learn the Shla on Shabbos, the Shnei Luchos Abris, one of the most amazing Sfarim in the world. So the Shla always goes into account of all, he goes into all the different mitzvahs that are learned out from every single parsha. So according to the Midrash, it says that there's 60 mitzvahs in Parashat Kedoshim, and there are a lot of mitzvahs. But there's a problem. The Rav HaKadosh, Reb Mendel Merimenov, Zchus Yagen Aleinu, Tamal Zeh, he had a question on this, the Rimenover Rebbe, the Heilige Reb Menachem Mendel Rimenover, he had a question on this. If we actually did start counting up the amount of mitzvahs that are in Parashat Kedoshim, and especially the Sefer HaChinuch, which also counts the mitzvahs, you'll see there are a lot less than 60 mitzvahs that are in this parsha. So the question is, why did the Midrash say that there are 60 mitzvahs that are in this parsha? Simple question. Because of the בפרשה זו יש כוח סגולי של 60 mitzvot. Now what does that mean? Koach sguli. What does that mean? What's a sgula? No one here knows what a sgula is. It's a sgula. Do this. It's a sgula.
Good luck.
It's a good luck charm. Well, yeah, there's no. I'm not asking anything too wild. I mean, Veitem li sgula. God just says Veitem li sgula. We're an am sgula. What does that even mean? Yoni, you probably have something really deep on that one. What does this mean, sgula? What does this mean? What does it mean, a koach sguli? That's what I want to ask you guys. What does that mean, a sgula power? Anybody?
Power more than what it appears to be on the outside. Segula is that you do something and it has more power than just the physical top layer. It's the same thing. It must be there are fewer mitzvahs, but at the end of the day, yeah, it has the power of the 60 from fewer.
How much long have you been waiting for a guy like this to come? Shekoach, bro. That's mamish. That's exactly where we're going with this. Anybody else? David, you want to say something? You okay? Anyone else?
Yeah,
Jeremy? Am
Israel is like Am Segula.
What does that mean?
There's a certain magic to the Jewish people. Like we'll come to this barren land, all of a sudden there's like mobile eye and there's this, and the Arabs are living in like their garbage cans, and the Jews came here, Holocaust survivors, and the explosion. Like, how did the Jews do that? It's just a segula to the Jewish people. So when we come together, that magic that we have, that Hashem blessed us with, as an Am Segula, comes out. So it's like a certain kedusha magic.
Right. It's not, you cannot explain it at all. It's above like whatever makes sense to you. So what does that mean now? There's a koach sguli of 60 mitzvahs in the Torah, in this parsha. It's a little bit tricky. A koach sguli, a koach of something that doesn't really make sense, however something more than sense comes out of it. Shelimud aparasha mesugal levatel yitzra de arayot al derech bitul iser b'shishim. Okay, now we're getting something amazing. What's one of the main things? The main things that are brought down in our parsha? Arayot. How do you say arayot in English? Not arayot with an aleph. Arayas. Sexual immorality. A lot of stuff here about this inyan, which somehow, it's amazing how you see different things people struggled throughout the years. Like, I don't have a lot of friends that are still like have a taiva to bow down to an idol or to a moon, right? But this inyan of sexual immorality has never left humanity. It's always been there. It's been in different shapes or forms, like the whole inyan of, why the Torah has to say you can't have relations with your sister, but we don't understand, like, yeah, but what's the, I don't know anyone that's, Baruch Hashem struggling with that one, but that was an inyan at a certain point, let's say. Huh? Yes, they did. That's right. But on a general level of sexual immorality, that's still something we're dealing with. And that's something that all of us want so badly, to bring Kedusha into that department of our lives. It's a struggle we all struggle with. And you need strong dibuk chaverim to get through that one. That's not something that you're supposed to figure out how to conquer on your own. That's sichas chaverim, big time. But he's basically saying here is that that's something that when you come together and you hear really heavy things that you might have fallen through before, when you hear it together and you're holding arms while you're hearing something that's really hard to take on, he says it's a koach zguli It's this koach which you can't even explain where you receive in order to purify yourself in this area. But what's this koach called? Bitul Isur B'Shishim. What is this? What is he referring to when something is nullified by a 60th? So in kashrus, what happens? Let's explain this just out there. This is the brilliance of this piece. How do you nullify something by a 60th when it comes to the laws of kashrus? Give an example.
You have a pot of meat and put in a little bit of milk by accident.
Yeah.
Right?
Not like, okay, let's see how I can do a 60th, right?
So if it's more than a 60th, then it's that little teapot of milk is nullified.
Right.
Yeah, I guess.
We have this concept called bitul isur b'shishim when it comes to kashrus, that something is nullified when it's a quantitative level that says that it's mevata like this, right? So many of us, at a certain level, when we come amongst each other and we throw ourselves in a minyan, or we throw ourselves in the bigger picture of Am Yisrael, we also have this inyan of, wow, we're probably bitul b'shishim, with our own problems as well. And it gives you enough koach to feel you can conquer something. But when you don't think that there's any chance for you to stop being the way you are, nothing will help you. Nothing will help you. He's giving us the ingredients now to why communal Yiddishkeit is not just good and healthy, but it's essential on so many different levels. ועל יסוד דברינו הקדושים יש לומר דקאי נמי על עניין הקל שפרשת קדושים נאמרה בהקל, that the parsha of Kedoshim was said in this hakel, in this ingathering. Now he says here the key, the kicker. The kinusam shel Yisrael, we're in the bottom of the second paragraph. When Yidden get together, yesh bo koach zguli shel bitul b'shishim. Just like in kashrus, something gets nullified by a 60th, there's something about it when Yidden come together that your own Yetzer Haras become nullified when it's included amongst this bitul b'shishim. It's a koach zguli. He's saying, don't try to ask me how this works. I can't tell you how this works. But take my word for it. Take the Torah's word for it. When the Torah is going to talk to you about how to become holy, you got to do it all together. Because the Torah is going to tell us a lot of heavy things this Shabbos. A lot of very whacked out things that we probably don't have the kelim to truly internalize and get there on its own, right? Shekasher Yehudim nikalim beyachad. So when you didn't get together, but then he says here again, umevatlim atzmam zelazeh, and they mevatel themselves before each other. Mitbatel chelek hara, that bad part of them, that isur shebahem, and that thing that is asur that they're involved with, is also mitbatel, becomes nullified. Okay, who understands this? Not how it works, not how it works, but who understands this concept and wants to share how they've seen this in their own lives, that by coming together, a certain thing that they're working on in life through bittul with each other takes place.
I think Rabbi Shlomo said once that a good friend is someone you're around and you want to be a better person. But a true friend is someone you're around them, you're already a better person. And if people come together and they're just really good people, you're already a better person. As we can tell that rod.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Did anyone ever feel that here?
It happens in this film, for sure. It's happened for the last, year and a half or whatever. People's lives have totally changed by just coming, right? No?
Yeah.
Just by not even what's said, just
being connected to everyone.
The connections and the relationships that take you to a different level, and it changes you inside. Structurally changes your neshama.
That's what
it has in my life. Absolutely. I'm not the same person I was a year and a half ago since we've been coming together. No way.
And it's hard to explain it to someone unless they're here.
Does it have to be that you're batal shishim just in what's the shishim here? Let's talk about
It's just the concept.
No. So what I'm saying is it doesn't have to mean that everybody's kadosh and then 60 people are kadosh and there's one non-kadosh. It's that there's just a group of people who want to be kadosh and are together, and because they're all together, all those good parts of them become this bigger sum.
Right.
It's not necessarily like I want to be good, so I'm going to be amongst good people. We all want to be good together.
I think that happened Gilad Shalit. It was a worldwide phenomenon. It wasn't even a communal thing. Where the entire world of Jews, and probably even beyond that, they're like, wow, this is, like, people are crying. You know? It was a miraculous event. In fact, they would pull off the deal. You know, people were criticizing it at first, but it really just everybody became a united entire nation.
Right. But what does it mean, though? What does it mean, this concept of mevatlim es atzman zeh lezeh? That's what I really want to get to. He said that's key ingredient for this to like really take place in our lives, and it has to be bittul amongst each other.
You come to shul so that people will look at you. You don't come to shul to make a scene so that you're an individual. You come to shul to be part of the cloud. You go along with the monogam of the shul. You're just quiet, but you're there. It's part of the street.
That's definitely got to be some of it, yeah. Yes?
I think this is a brilliant piece. He's way ahead of his time. Often, like 12-step concepts will come into some of the things that we learn about. This is like a key part, the concept of there being a group, not a chiddush. We've spoken about this before.
Right.
Here's the key part of creating a safe space where one's willing to go ahead and share. Now, in order to create a safe space, you really have to do the on yourself. Meaning, first of all, get rid of judgment. You have to totally get rid of judgment to be able to be receptive to whatever it is the other person's going to share.
Right.
The person sharing has to be mavatel of his ego also to be able to say, I'm chaser, I'm weak in certain areas, and I'm following the game plan here, and I'm going to try to take advantage of this safe room. On this particular meetup, she's talking about a Harayo. This is a Mida that lives in the dark. This particular Mida is one that does not want us to talk about, does not want us to share, and doesn't want us to really engage like this. And so here he comes, he says, Batal Hashishin. The antidote to it is to be able to shed light on a very dark place. And you do that by safe spaces, not judgment, about to yourself to each other.
I think the word Cliff used quite often was permission. Remember, you kept on saying to mevata yourself to each other, you also have to have permission to go into that place with someone that's really deep. That's someone that's really a real chaver. You can't just, force bittul from someone and say, hey, now it's time for you to mevata yourself to the bigger picture. You need to gain that respect and permission and love. But you're right. This inyan of dafka, this stuff is, stuff that we're dealing with all the time. That's why it's constant, right? This inyan of arayas is something that don't think that you're going to be able to conquer this on your own. You need a lot of strength coming from outer places as well. Not people that say to you, it's like sometimes people say, we want to be surrounded by people that I know that everyone is struggling with what I'm struggling with. No, each of us struggle in different ways with different things, but in Am Yisrael's coming together, there's a koach sguli. What Tom was trying to explain before, you can't explain that. It's a koach sguli. Right? It's like a sgula, and it's a power that's much bigger. Yes, it doesn't fix my whole life, but like really what you said, Jeremy, is that I become a better person even before I consciously start working on myself. When I'm in the presence, when I'm surrounded by safety and love, and people that have the permission to go deeper with me and point out certain things in a very safe manner. And that's all he said. Yeah, Yoni.
You mentioned something the other week about Nadal and Navihu, that this is reminding me of, together with what Yossi was just saying, that it's hard to encounter the other when the other has so many issues. You look at them, and the first thing you notice is look at that person. But you can almost never encounter anything beyond yourself. You're almost trapped inside of yourself because you're saying, "Oh, look at him," and you're kind of stuck within your own four walls. But to have that openness, the danger of the encounter is that you're going to lose yourself, and there's that fear that I need to keep myself protected and boarded up. I can't encounter. I have to stand strong and be myself. But that openness, that almost invitation to yourself to be with another and to be together with the other person, you have to recognize that person as the person. That is the thing. Look at that guy's got. Not what he doesn't have, but look what he does have. That's the encounter over there. Most people don't have encounters; they have experiences. Oh, look, I'm going to use that person for something.
Right. Right. Mamash kacha. Do you think that when Yidden came to Beit HaMikdash to hear these things behakel, that they came with this just embedded in them? Or do you think that they also had to be reminded constantly about why did God even call us in here together?
Hold on, they came to the Beit HaMikdash?
I think later on when this stuff was said, but no, here we're traveling. But I'm saying later on when they did show up, what was the consciousness like there? Do you think the bittul amongst each other was automatic?
People are people, right? I mean, it could be hundreds of years ago, but I'm sure people struggled with very similar things that we struggle with in regards to ego and judgment and those type of things. So, maybe it takes when you're in Meron for Lag BaOmer, you feel that, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like being together with it. So maybe when you first get there,
right.
What's this guy that? What's going on with that? What's going on with me? Right? But
right.
all of a sudden, something clicks, and you're like, whoa, hold on. There's tens of thousands of people here.
Right.
This is the most epic Jewish festival there is. And it takes over, and then
right.
you tap into that.
Once you finish with the look at, oh, I can't be here, that guy's a freak.
The question is how quickly you get through that.
Right. In Uman that happens on a crazy scale where you go there. Even when we forget Rosh Hashanah, even when we've gone there in Rosh Chodesh Elul, just to work through the freaks for the first few hours you're there, you could lose your mind. That's why we always said it's the hardest place for us when we're on these trips is Uman. Why? Why is it? Because it's so hard for us to relate to all these other people with their issues that are there that are really not like us on a certain level. But at a certain point, they're just there as mirrors to ask yourselves also, and what about you?
You're not talking about Sergey with the car and everything, right?
No, yeah. No, Rov Gufei, so you sing over here again, Rov Gufei Torah Klimba. I think that means, you want to understand the rest of the Torah? Rov Gufei Torah Klimba, the most bodies of Torah are dependent on this. What does that mean? That without getting through Parshas, this inyan of Kedoshim, and hearing how to become holy while I'm amongst other people, so much more of the Torah is dependent on this Bitul Zelizeh. Like the rest of our Yiddishkeit. All these other things in our lives are dependent on this key factor of avoda, of chaverim coming together to get through the real heavy stuff in life. That's the mafteach. That's the key for the rest. So, I pray that this koach zguli, whatever that even means, this koach of a zgula, is something that continues to be a torch for us, because I think it really is for us a torch. Like when I try to explain, so everyone asks me, how was Yom HaTzmaut? So I realized that I started lessening from its power when I started explaining it to somebody. It's a koach zguli. How was davening here, Leil Yom HaTzmaut? I don't know what to tell. What am I going to tell you? It was strong. Okay, it was also strong. It was powerful, yeah. It was deep, yeah. It was heartbreaking, yeah. It was a million things. So Bezrat Hashem, I pray that we remember that this inyan of becoming Kedoshim Tiyu Nemra Behakel. By the way, you should know, from just on a personal level, I don't know if it's a Yetzer Hara or Yetzer Tov. I hated Minyan most of my life because I could not stand the fact that that I was seeing myself just becoming robotic about it as well. Even though I know the Torah says to do this, I felt like, doesn't God want me to cry? Doesn't Hashem want me to really express something? How could you do that when you're like, you have to, do you know what I'm talking about at all? Anyway, we're all in this. We've all had these tkuvas in life. And yet I see here that when we come here and we just start saying the davening out loud together, all that struggles I used to have with like dafka coming to a minyan and feeling real, they mamish fade away. I can't explain it to you. They mamish fade away. When we're here together and there's bittul in the room and we start hodu, or if some people still starting Mizmor Shir until you switch over to Svart, like whatever it is, there's something that starts flowing together and you feel like bittul b'shishim, you really do. You feel like you mitbatel. You feel like the bad in you is mitbatel, becomes nullified. It's an amazing thing. Go try to explain it, or don't try. It's not. It's unexplainable. But anyway, I think that really that's why I had a Rav that said to me, I was going through so much struggles in life. About 12, 13 years ago. Wow. A long time ago, about 12 years ago. And he said to me, and I thought he was going to give me some kind of like deep remedy or something, or tell me something deep to do. He said, Atakam le minyan. I wanted to punch him. He said, do you get up for minyan? I mamish wanted to punch him. It's like, are you kidding me? That's what I need to hear right now? Do you get up for minyan in the morning? And I realized now that what he was saying is like the way to begin to conquer all that which seems impossible when you wake up is to throw yourself into a hakel early in the morning. Because the rov gufei Torah, the rest of your day, might really be dependent on how much bittul can take place the first few moments of the day in a minyan. So we have the opportunity not just to be learning together, to daven together every day. We should take advantage of it in a really beautiful way. Right, Shekach, everyone.
It's like